After my childhood friend took away my identity as the daughter of a tycoon, the night before I was to meet my biological parents, the tycoon couple, my childhood friend insisted that I wear his family's heirloom jade bracelet. Just as I was about to accept, a barrage of comments appeared before my eyes. The moment has finally arrived for the male lead to exchange identities with the cannon fodder female second lead using the system. From now on, the male lead will become the true young master of the richest family. The male lead will return to his ancestral home tomorrow, fall in love at first sight with his sister the day after, and then begins a forbidden pseudo-incestuous romance. I really hope the plot speeds up. Why won't the cannon fodder female second lead accept the exchange? Does she not want the male lead to exchange identities, preventing him from living a good life? How truly malicious. In my previous life, I believed the live comments and didn't accept the bracelet from my childhood friend, becoming the eldest daughter of the richest family. But my childhood friend was furious. On the day of my celebration for being admitted to Harvard University and Yale University, he stabbed me 99 times. If you hadn't refused to switch identities with me, how could Lily be with Jordan? How could a sickly man like him deserve Lily? The son of a tycoon should be me, and the one engaged to Lily should be me. It turned out that he wanted to switch identities because he had fallen for the fake heiress Lily. Now seeing the bullet screen, I immediately put on the bracelet. The Duncan family's den of wolves and jackals is better left to Marcus, the big idiot. This time, I'm off to college. Seeing me put on the bracelet, Marcus's eyes lit up with joy, and he couldn't help but remind me, Nicole, the bracelet can bring safety. You must never take it off. This is my birthday gift to you. And I hope you'll always wear it. I sneered coldly in my heart. What a bracelet for safety. It was just an excuse for him to trade me for my status as the daughter of a tycoon. This day was my birthday in my previous life, because I refused to drop out of school and earn money to support my lazy brother's repeat year. My furious parents beat me up and locked me in a cold, dark room. Marcus appeared at this moment. He climbed over the wall into the courtyard, carrying a piece of egg cake. Saying it was for my birthday, he also took out a bracelet from his grandmother without any explanation and insisted on putting it on me. At that time, I was very touched, feeling that someone still loved me, until I saw the text on the screen above his head. The plot where the male lead exchanges identities with the supporting female character using the system has finally arrived. After midnight, the male lead will become the real young master of the richest family. The male lead will return to his ancestral home tomorrow, fall in love with his sister at first sight the day after, and then begins a forbidden pseudo-incestuous romance. I really hope the plot can fast forward. I only realized that I was not a poor girl from the lower district, but the real heiress of the richest family in T-City who was mistakenly reported. The opportunity to change my fate in my previous life is right in front of me. So I naturally refused the birthday gift from my childhood friend. On the second day, I was indeed recognized by the richest man and taken back, transforming from an ugly duckling into a swan, forever leaving the dirty and dim slums, returning to my biological parents' home. I didn't forget to pull Marcus along, helping him escape from his parasitic uncle's family and allowing him to shine and prosper with me. I treated him sincerely. But he harbored resentment towards me after the fake heiress got engaged to the real young master. On the day of my celebration for being admitted to Harvard and Yale University, he stabbed me 99 times, causing my tragic death. As long as I survived that day, I could leave the predatory Duncan family and embrace my own bright and beautiful future. All of this was ruined by Marcus. Fortunately, Heaven took pity on me, and I was reborn. This time, I won't stand in the way of Marcus stealing my identity. If he covets the den of wolves that is the Duncan family so much, I'll leave it to him, but I must avenge the wrongs of my past life. The next day when I woke up, the room I was in had changed from my foster parents' basement to a bedroom at Marcus's house with a small window. I knew that my identity had already been switched by Marcus. You lazy girl, sleeping and sleeping. Do you know what time it is? Hurry up and pack your things. The bus heading south is about to leave. The sharp-tongued woman pushed the door open and grabbed my shoulder, yanking me out of bed forcefully. Aunt, what are you saying? I was confused and could only pretend to be clueless. Aunt shrieked, you little bitch, you promised to drop out of school and work in the factory to help your cousin pay for his down payment. Have you changed your mind again? I've already taken the introduction fee, so you'd better go to work obediently. I, being thin and weak, was dragged by Aunt all the way to the courtyard, her cursing never stopping, and Marcus, who had taken my identity, stood outside the courtyard, gloating at me. The subtitles above his head were scrolling furiously. Ha ha ha, the cannon fodder female second lead doesn't know that the factory introduced by the male leads and is a black-hearted one. The female second lead won't survive more than 2 months before she accidentally falls into the mixer, getting crushed to pieces, leaving no remains. It's still our dear male lead who's smart. To deal with the female second lead, he dropped out of school early at home, cutting off her path to education, making her live like an ant forever. I clenched the hem of my shirt, glaring at him. There was only a month left until the high school entrance exam. Even if our identities had been swapped, I could still get into a good high school and work hard for 3 more years to get back into my previous life's Harvard and Yale University. I never expected Marcus to hate me so much. He swapped our identities but still wanted to cut off my future and ruin my life. He wanted me to accept my fate, but I was determined to carve out my own path. Soon, the familiar black car entered the alley. Just like in my previous life, Marcus was taken away by the Duncan family, Auntie said viciously. What are you looking at? Marcus is the wrongly adopted son of a wealthy family. What right does a lowly girl like you have to think about your past relationship with him? Don't be shameless. Hurry up and go to the bus station. I grabbed her wrist and said, Auntie, I have a way to help my cousin earn $100,000 for a down payment, but you must restore my school enrollment. Auntie looked me up and down disdainfully. What abilities do you have? Earn 100,000. Your uncle can't even make 100,000 in a year. What are you bragging about? Are you just trying to avoid working and making excuses to fool me? I ran back to my room, found a flyer for a prestigious high school recruiting students from poor families, and pointed to the line at the bottom. Auntie, if I get into the prestigious First High School, I'll receive a 100,000 scholarship. With that money, you can afford the down payment for my cousin's wedding house. Auntie was tempted. She knew my grades were excellent, but she was afraid I might sneak away if I went to the provincial capital, so she suggested my cousin accompany me. I breathed a sigh of relief, as the matter of studying was finally settled. When I returned with my cousin, clutching the admission letter from the prestigious school, I learned of the news that my foster parents' house next door had burned down. Upon inquiry, I found out that it was my alcoholic foster father who had accidentally set the curtains on fire, burning down the house. Watching the burned-down house, I coldly closed the door. I handed the 100,000 yuan bank card to my aunt, and only then did she give me the readmission notice. Holding the thin readmission notice, I finally felt at ease to continue my studies. In the high school entrance exam, I achieved the first place in the city and the third place in the province, declined the invitation from City No. 1 high school and arrived in the provincial capital with the admission notice. When I entered class 666 wearing a navy blue pleated skirt uniform, it was no surprise to meet Marcus's incredulous eyes. How did the cannon fodder female second lead get in here? Shouldn't she be working in a black-hearted factory? The plot is messed up. Don't panic. The male lead has already replaced the female second lead's identity as a millionaire's daughter. She can never take away the male lead's identity. But is the noble school a charity? What kind of random people are being let in? It's so unlucky. Our male lead has finally managed to escape his dirty past, and now that the cannon fodder female second lead is here, she's going to make him sad again. Get lost, poor girl. Marcus wears a Patek Philippe watch worth over $1 million on his wrist and a pair of Italian handmade leather shoes worth tens of thousands on his feet. His dry hair is styled by a stylist, and now he exudes the aura of a high society young master. No one would guess that just a few months ago he was a poor boy selling popsicles on the lower streets. He nervously looks at me, afraid that I will recognize him and reveal his shameful past. In my previous life, I also attended the prestigious First High School. At his request, I arranged for him to be in the same class, but on his first day in the class, he spread the word about how I used to sing and smile for money. This marked the beginning of my days being bullied. The Duncan family also faced ridicule from other prominent families because of me. I was stripped naked and forced to kneel in the Duncan family's basement, where I was brutally whipped with a rod embedded with iron spikes, breaking my right hand. Even the slightest attempt to write with it now causes excruciating pain. Now, I glanced at him lightly as the teacher led me to the last row. My new deskmate was none other than the fake heiress, Lily. She was beautiful and gentle, offering me a cute smile upon seeing me, her eyes sparkling. After class, Marcus pulled me into the adjacent storage room, impatiently saying, "You go find the teacher to withdraw from school right now. This isn't the school you should be attending. Did you go to the Duncan family and get into this prestigious school through my connections? Nicole, where's your pride? You've always refused handouts, so why now, seeing me prosper, are you clinging to me for personal gain?" Withdraw from school yourself, don't make me look down on you. What are you blabbering about? I can't understand you, so I'll just slap you first. Slap. I slapped Marcus across the face. Marcus, we grew up together, Bear asked. I know what kind of dumpling filling you ate just by the sound of your fart. You want me to drop out of school, don't you? You're just afraid I'll expose the fact that you used to live in a slum. Don't think that sticking a few feathers on a hill chicken's tail makes you a phoenix. Why should I withdraw from the school I got into through my own efforts? Marcus was furious, but his tone was coaxing. Nicole, I'm doing this for your own good. The students here are all children of the wealthy, and the rules and games in our circle are completely different from those in the lower districts. You'll only suffer here, do you understand? The bullet comments were also scrolling wildly at this moment. The male lead is too kind, remembering their childhood friendship and letting the female second lead leave school. So charming. The female second lead is too ungrateful, actually using connections with the richest man to get into school. Ugh, I pulled a face and refused. I won't drop out, you're meddling too much. Marcus's fake patience ran out, and he kicked the table in frustration, threatening, fine, don't be ungrateful. Soon, I understood the meaning behind Marcus's words, don't be ungrateful. He hired people to specifically bully me. The first time, he had someone falsely accuse me of stealing a classmate's Patek Philippe watch, demanding that the school expel me, but he forgot that every student's lounge was equipped with surveillance cameras. The video clearly showed that the accuser was the one who stole the watch and planted it in my bag. I emerged unscathed, while the slanderer was expelled and dismissed. The second time, he bribed my roommate to lock me out of the dorm, preventing me from sleeping. I retaliated by reporting the roommate's company for tax evasion, forcing him out of school. The third time, during the monthly exam, he had someone lock me in the bathroom and pour a bucket of ice water on me, preventing me from taking the test. The rule at Elite First High School was that any student scoring 0 in the monthly exam would be expelled. He tried to force me to leave school with this method, but I managed to climb through windows and scale walls, successfully entering the exam hall before the test began. In the first monthly exam, I secured a perfect score, firmly holding the top spot in the grade. While Marcus fell out of the top 50, the Duncan family was very dissatisfied with his performance. As expected, he was mercilessly whipped by his father, Duncan. Those days, he wore high-necked clothes, his eyes betraying the exhaustion he couldn't hide, but he deserved it all. I meticulously listed out each instance of Marcus bribing people to bully me, compiled them into a document, and planned to send it via email to Duncan's arch-rival. The homeroom teacher called me to the office with a serious expression. As soon as I pushed open the office door, Auntie rushed over, trying to slap me, but I dodged. She then pointed her finger at my nose and scolded. You little tramp, Marcus has become the young master of a wealthy family, and you don't help the family get any benefits. Instead, you use your connections to get into a prestigious school for yourself. Do you want to follow in the footsteps of your prostitute mother and hook a rich second generation? Our family doesn't have such a disgraceful descendant like you. You should drop out of school now and go home to work. The homeroom teacher, knowing my monthly exam results, couldn't help but say. Nicole's grades are excellent. In 3 years, he will definitely be able to get into Harvard and Yale University or apply to study abroad. Parents cannot cut off their child's future. Aunt spat out a mouthful of phlegm. Her grades must have been cheated for, right? You're defending her so much. Are you her client or something? She's just a good-for-nothing, not cut out for studying. As her aunt, don't I know her character? Fire her immediately. The homeroom teacher, a fresh male college graduate, was so angered by Aunt's vulgar language that he started stuttering. Marcus chimed in from the side as well. Principal Wang, I don't know how Nicole managed to get my family to sponsor her into one middle school, but as you can see now, she only came here to hook up with rich second-generation heirs. Clearly, she is not suitable to continue her studies here. With that, he disdainfully glanced at me and threw out a stack of highly suggestive photos. In the photos, I am dressed plainly, stepping out of a luxury car with a well-dressed middle-aged man, and we are seen entering a hotel together. As you can see, Nicole has used the school's reputation to ingratiate herself with a wealthy man. She tarnishes the school's image, and such a person should not be allowed in the school. Seeing the photo, my homeroom teacher, who had originally wanted to speak up for me, closed her mouth and looked at me with a touch of disappointment. It's just saying I'm being kept, right? I rolled my eyes in exasperation. I glanced at the photo's content. Wasn't that from the weekend when I was invited to the hotel to discuss the stock market? No wonder I felt like I was being followed back then. It was all Marcus's doing. Marcus continued to lay into me. I am now representing the Duncan family to suspend the funding for Nicole. Nicole, to save yourself some dignity, you should take the initiative to withdraw from school. We've known each other, and I don't want to make your shameful affairs public knowledge." The comments section was now scrolling wildly. "The second female lead is done for this time. Hurry up and scurry back to the slums. At such a young age, she seduces old men. How disgusting, a slut. The male lead is so smart. He had someone follow the second female lead and discovered her being kept by someone, then found his aunt and paid her to cause a scene at school. Once the second female lead is expelled, her money-grubbing aunt will break her legs and sell her to a 60-year-old man with a limp. The male lead is so gentle in the end, he even left the female lead some dignity. As long as she leaves school, he won't leak those photos. How much of a gentleman is that?" I glanced at the hypocritical Marcus, then swept my eyes over the large gold bracelet on my aunt's wrist, and let out a cold laugh. "You are slandering me. I have a clean and innocent relationship with that gentleman. I am going to call the police now. I suspect that all of this is a setup by Marcus and my aunt to frame me. You are defaming a minor student." At this moment, the principal's assistant, who was checking my admission information, timidly raised their hand and said, Principal, Nicole's tuition and other fees were not funded by the Duncan Group, but by a foreign bank." Marcus's smug face froze, and he pushed away his assistant. His eyes glued to the computer screen. "Impossible." I let out a cold laugh. "Marcus, I told you I got into one middle school on my own. You insisted I got in through your back door. I'm not a fly that enjoys eating shit. What are you so desperate to slander me for?" "Afraid I'll expose you." Before he could finish, Marcus interrupted with a raised voice. "The entrance exam for poor students at one high school this year was in April. There's no way you could have passed it. Foreign bank." "I get it now, Nicole. You didn't accept my family's financial support because you're being kept by an older man. Isn't it common these days for perverts to secretly support female students? Nicole, you're so despicable. To get into a prestigious school, you're willing to sell your body." "Principal, I think you should expel her right now." Auntie also chimed in. Yes, Principal, you should expel that little wretch right now. She's morally corrupt and doesn't deserve to study." The principal was still hesitating, but Marcus silenced him with Duncan family's funding. "Principal Wong, my father is planning to donate $3 million to the school next quarter. Are you sure you want to tolerate a student with a scandal? Besides, she's just a poor girl. Without a man supporting her, how could she afford to attend a prestigious school?" "Principal, don't be foolish." Principal Wong's wavering heart was halted by a single sentence from Marcus, and he was about to stamp the prepared withdrawal application form. Seeing the vice principal's action, I quickly intervened. "Principal, are you really going to expel me based on just a few photos and some twisted words? That's too unfair, isn't it? I've already called the police. Why not wait for them to arrive before making a decision?" Marcus snatched the stamp from the principal's hand and pressed it down, then threw the application form at me, gloating. "Nicole, hurry up and go back with your aunt. You've been expelled." Auntie was overjoyed and immediately tried to pull me away. At this moment, the door was pushed open, and a woman with fiery red hair and voluminous curls strode in, her heels clicking sharply. She pulled me behind her and sneered at the vice principal. "Bob, you dare expel my person? You, a dignified vice principal, let a young punk push you around. Aren't you ashamed? Do you not want your piece of the West City territory anymore?" "Wong family." Principal Wong immediately deflected blame when called out by name. "Miss Chen, this wasn't my decision. It was all Marcus's doing. I didn't agree to it." Standing behind the woman, I scoffed. Sure, he didn't agree, but the withdrawal application was already written and just waiting for the stamp. That's quite the skillful deflection. After Marcus was recognized by the Duncan family, he was taken to attend high society gatherings. The woman in front of us is the daughter of the Chen family, a lesser family compared to the Duncans. After comparing their respective statuses, Marcus regained his confidence and spoke without restraint. "Miss Chen, your family is merely a second-tier clan. Do you really think you can afford to offend mine? I advise you not to oppose me just for Nicole, otherwise, I'll have my father halt the projects with the Chen family. The consequences of that are something you wouldn't be able to bear, I'm sure." Miss Chen turned to face the newcomer and said sarcastically, "Young Master Duncan, your brother certainly knows how to put on a show of authority. Since the Duncan family looks down on collaborating with mine, I think the projects between our two families should come to an end." Jordan, the eldest son of the Duncan family, walked into the office with a stern expression and slapped Marcus across the face. "Useless, Marcus covered his swollen face, seething with anger but unable to speak out, his eyes still hiding his fear of Jordan. I lowered my eyes, unable to help recalling my previous life in the Duncan household. Whenever I made a mistake, Jordan would look at me with disdain, as if I were trash, and then raise his hand to slap me, all in the name of brotherly guidance. Now, Marcus has taken over my identity, and Jordan treats Marcus the same way he treated me in his previous life. Marcus probably hates him to death by now. Miss Chen waved her hand. No need, I see how your Duncan family conducts itself. Let's end the partnership between our families. I wouldn't want to be slandered and framed by your family one day. And I certainly wouldn't do anything that would harm the Chen family's interests, winked at me conspiratorially after speaking. Jordan still wanted to persuade her, but only received a refusal from Miss Chen. Stepping out of the principal's office, Miss Chen put on a humble demeanor and said, Nicole, I cut off the cooperation with the Duncan family despite the pressure from the board. According to your proposal, I've already had someone bid on that land in the eastern city. Don't let us down. I smiled faintly. Miss Chen, the results of the bidding project will be out next week. And you will surely get what you wish for. I did indeed get into the prestigious First High School. It's just through the Chen family's connections. I used the pretext of an exam to arrive early in the provincial capital, but in reality, I was leveraging my previous life's memories to capture the transaction where the White family was fabricating fake bid documents. Relying on this stepping stone, the Chen family did not acquire the land with excessive heavy metal contamination, and as a result, I gained the appreciation of Miss Chen. She recommended him for the entrance exam at Elite First High School. The 100000 that I brought back to my aunt's house was also given to me by Miss Chen. When I interacted with Miss Chen, I inadvertently shared some insights on the stock market, using my previous life's experience to help her make several precise trades, which brought her significant gains and greatly boosted the reputation of the Chen family, who had just entered the market. I went from being a somewhat valuable student to becoming a promising stock that the Chen family valued. I also leveraged the Chen family's connections to build up a network of contacts, and in return, when I planned to target the Duncan family, I sent the dirt I had collected on the Duncan family to Miss Chen. This allowed the Chen family to sever their cooperation with the Duncan family. Miss Chen left after receiving satisfactory news from me, leaving her lawyer behind. Watching her retreating figure, I recalled the past life, when she shielded me from insults and beatings at the Duncan family banquet. She was a warm ray of kindness I experienced amidst the coldness of human relationships. She helped me, and this lifetime, I will help her in return. I went to the police station to cooperate with the investigation. Marcus left easily due to the Duncan family's influence, but my aunt suffered greatly. The police found in her phone that she had been in contact with human traffickers, planning to sell me for 200,000 yuan. This now involves human trafficking, and she is going to jail. She tried to implicate Marcus by making random accusations, but after Marcus mentioned the name of her cousin, her aunt swallowed everything with reddened eyes. After spending half a day at the police station, a wave of controversy erupted online. The dirt I sent to Duncan's arch-rival about the Duncan family was exposed on the internet. Duncan family construction uses substandard materials. Duncan company delays worker wages. The Duncan family young master bullies. Trended on social media. Jordan's already fragile heart couldn't withstand the online uproar, and he fainted at the police station entrance. Chen's lawyer escorted me back to school. As soon as I stepped into the small woods, I saw the Wang family's young master holding on to Lily, with several henchmen surrounding them. I furrowed my brow and quickly stepped forward, pulling Lily behind me. Wang Yang was just about to instruct his underlings to teach me a lesson when he froze upon seeing his father's call on my phone screen. Nicole, what brings you to call me today? Did you agree to be our company's consultant last time? No matter how much trouble Wang Yang caused at school, he stuck to one principle. He must not let it reach his father. But now that his father's voice, full of flattery, rang out, Wang Yang dared not act out and left with his group. Dejected, I casually brushed off the conversation and hung up the phone. Lily tugged at my sleeve, her eyes red. Nicole, are you okay? Everyone said you were taken to the police station, and I was so worried about you. Lily was very beautiful, and there were many people who liked her both at home and outside. Even Jordan harbored different feelings for this younger sister. I replied, I'm fine. How long has he been harassing you? Stay far away from him next time. That kind of guy isn't a good person. Lily's eyes reddened with gratitude. Nicole, you're so kind. If he bothers me again in the future, can I ask you for help? I nodded, looking at her beautiful face. I felt a mix of emotions. She was the mistaken fake heiress. In my previous life, after returning to the Duncan family, I harbored resentment towards her, hate her for usurping my place, hate her for making the first 18 years of my life miserable and painful. Yet, after being found and brought back to the Duncan family, I also saw her struggles, because her heart donor didn't match Jordan's. She lived under the cold gaze of the Duncan couple from a young age. She was not allowed to have her own preferences, taught from childhood how to dress and apply makeup, groomed into a tool for political marriage. From the age of 10, she was pushed by her father to attend various banquets. At the tender age of blooming beauty, her face painted, her eyes revealed a calmness that did not belong to a young girl. On the first day of returning to the Duncan family, she was punished by her stepmother for mismatching the colors of her clothes, made to kneel in the blazing sun with a bowl of water on her head. Even growing up in such an environment, she still maintained a kind heart. When I was scolded and punished by Jordan, she would bravely overcome her fear to plead for me. I was confined and starved by my father, but she would secretly bring me food. In this life, when Marcus stole my identity and bribed my roommates to keep me out of the dorm, it was she who offered to let me sleep in her dorm and helped me gather evidence to uncover those who bullied me. She was so kind and beautiful, treating me like a sister, like a friend, and she gradually calmed my restless heart. And that Wang Yang, I clearly remember that he was deliberately found by Jordan to specifically harass Lily, so that he could play the role of a hero saving the beauty, and firmly control Lily. In my previous life, I accidentally discovered Jordan's sordid thoughts about Lily and quietly warned her. Unfortunately, after discovering Lily's inclination to leave the Duncan family, Jordan falsely accused Lily of drugging him and climbing into his bed, forcing Lily to drop out of school, making her his personal caged bird. And that engagement ceremony that broke Marcus's defenses was merely a play by the Duncan family to cover up a scandal. In my previous life, until my death, Lily was imprisoned by Jordan in a private courtyard, never appearing in public again. This lifetime, I want to protect her, so I still need to take down the Duncan family first. I escorted Lily back to her dormitory and found that my belongings were also there. Upon asking, I learned that the original dormitory had collectively petitioned the dormitory manager to have me moved out. No one else in the other dormitories wanted a commoner like me to move in, except for Lily, who didn't mind and even took the initiative to move my things into her dormitory. The Duncan family's affairs were smoothed over by the Duncan couple's money. Their qualification to bid for the land in East City was revoked, rendering all their previous efforts in vain. Not only that, but several major deals were snatched by their arch-rival, and many talents from their company were poached. Jordan was so enraged that he was hospitalized. Upon learning this, Duncan's doting parents immediately blamed Marcus and forced him to take leave to personally attend to Jordan in the hospital. The Duncan couple, having listened to some so-called master, believed Marcus to be a jinx and compelled him to kneel and kowtow, completing 1,000 steps of prayer for Jordan's well-being. This act of praying for blessings was captured by many onlookers from T-City and shared online, where it was ridiculed without restraint. In the video, Marcus looked haggard and disheveled, with bruises on his forehead from repeated kowtows. Behind him stood 2 bodyguards tasked with overseeing his actions, but this was not enough. In my previous life, Marcus had used my connections to gain admission to the prestigious No. 1 high school, while secretly spreading rumors to the Duncan couple about my alleged promiscuity, cheating in exams, and bullying others with my influence. Because of these, I was often beaten and confined. These truths, he only boasted about by my ear before I died, so I added fuel to the fire, anonymously releasing dirt on him for abusing his power after returning to the Duncan family, leading bullying of students, and violating regulations. Soon, many netizens joined the fray. Marcus became the vicious young master everyone wanted to beat. The Duncan couple watched coldly, believing that Marcus deserved all of this, especially since his scandals could divert attention away from the Duncan family. Only when Jordan woke up did they reluctantly allow Marcus to return to school. Returning to school, Marcus was emaciated, his face pale, a clear bruise visible on his forehead. His eyes, once filled with arrogance, now flashed with a hint of hatred. The bullet comments above his head expressed constant concern for him. The villainous older brother is a short-lived wretch, yet he dares to bully our male lead baby. Disgusting, infuriating. The billionaire parents are also blind. After the male lead baby endured so much hardship before being found, they favor a sickly weakling instead, causing the male lead baby to get hurt. It's okay. Our male lead has a golden finger with 3 exchange opportunities. although he swapped the identity of the second female lead son of a tycoon, he still has 2 chances left. In 3 months, there will be a grand stock market event. As long as the male lead swaps the golden finger of stock market investment, he can help his tycoon parents earn 100 billion, be fought over by multiple big shots to be their godson, and even help his tycoon parents replace the villainous older brother's heir status. Marcus covered his head, his expression easing up for no apparent reason. The bullet screen above his head became lively again when it saw me. Damn, 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 all of this is the fault of the cannon fodder second female lead. If she had told the truth earlier and admitted she got into school with Chen family's sponsorship, the male lead wouldn't have been cyberbullied. What a selfish and despicable person. +1, how ridiculous. The abuser blaming the victim. These lofty bullet comments selectively ignore that I am the one being bullied. The male lead baby they speak of is nothing more than a thief who steals others' lives through despicable means. Lily handed me a box of strawberry-flavored milk and said, "Nicole, here you go. The finance class is about to start, and I've already saved us a spot. Let's go." These days, my relationship with Lily has been improving rapidly. Especially since I moved into her dorm, her personality has become increasingly cheerful. Since Jordan is hospitalized and can't control Wang Yang for now, I used a little trick to expose all the disgraceful things Wang Yang has done over the years to his father. Now that disgusting guy has been sent abroad by Mr. Wang, and Lily is no longer bothered by him. When the bullet screen saw Lily getting close to me, it immediately exploded with activity. "Daughter, why are you friends with the cannon fodder female second lead? Your true love is right in front of you. Daughter, hurry up and leave the cannon fodder female second lead. This is all the fault of the cannon fodder female second lead. If it weren't for her causing trouble, the male lead wouldn't have been stuck in the hospital all this time, unable to properly cultivate feelings with our daughter." Exactly, look how sad the male lead is. The male lead. Hurry up and go explain your troubles to the female lead. She loves broken little puppies the most. Marcus took a step forward, wanting to grab Lily's hand. "Lily, don't be friends with Nicole. She's not worthy of you. Come to your second brother." Lily, frightened, hid behind me and said, "Second brother, this is a school, don't get physical. Nicole is fine, so stop talking. The mess you've caused is so embarrassing." After saying that, she led me away, and behind us, Marcus let out a painful roar. "Lily, you're rejecting me. You don't want me either. Everything online is fake. Don't believe it." In addition to traditional academic studies, the curriculum at GZ One High School also includes numerous courses related to finance. This time, the school was introduced to and hired a female trader known as the Wolf of Wall Street, who was appointed as the instructor for the stock market trading course. Students at GZ One High School come from extraordinary backgrounds, and having grown up around their parents, they have picked up some knowledge through osmosis, except for Marcus, the true young master of the Duncan family who was recently found. Even with some private cramming, he remains completely clueless when faced with candlestick charts and capital market analysis. Marcus sat in the corner, his face pale as he listened to his classmates' ridicule. The bullet comments above his head were all offering him advice. "Baby hero, don't be mad. Your chance to strike back has come. I heard that teacher has helped several giant companies in the US with trading operations and achieved extremely high returns. Hurry up and use your swap ability to take the teacher's trading skills. So thrilling, so exciting, go for it, baby boy, charge." When those comments about the teacher's trading skills appeared, I saw Marcus's originally angry face miraculously relax, and a hint of pride flashed in his eyes. Oh, it seems Marcus can see the comments. Unfortunately, these comments don't know that the trading skills of this Wall Street wolf are all thanks to the abilities of his secret lover. In my previous life, my talent for trading was discovered by a trader, who took me under his wing to learn and guided me on how to trade in the stock market. At that stock market event, I successfully made a name for myself, with my profits growing higher each time. It was also around that time that the Duncan family recognized my value and began to reconsider the idea of arranging a marriage for me. Instead, they brought in many teachers to tutor me day and night in trading, hoping I could bring even more profits to the Duncan family. It was during that period that I learned the story of the Wolf of Wall Street. At this point, she was likely already in conflict with her secret lover. 3 months later, that lover would expose her actions, revealing her to be an empty-headed fool and a fraud. What Marcus got in return was not some ability to humiliate others, but a bomb about to explode. Marcus's efforts were far from smooth. He made multiple excuses to deliver things, hoping to receive private tutoring from the lecturer. Each time, he was brushed off by the lecturer. Only I knew that everything the lecturer taught was content that had been reverse-engineered from her past successful operations. That's all she's got. If she were to tutor Marcus individually, wouldn't that expose the truth that she knows nothing? With only 3 days left until the stock market event, Marcus still hadn't acquired the lecturer's skills and was starting to get anxious. I was a bit anxious too. So I quietly helped Marcus by leaking the news that the lecturer's birthday was on Saturday. Marcus gifted a 200 yuan bracelet on the day of the lecturer's birthday banquet, falsely claiming it was a crystal for good luck. In front of many guests, the lecturer had no choice but to awkwardly put it on. Marcus stayed at the birthday banquet until midnight, ensuring his exchange was successful before he felt reassured to leave. On Monday at the stock market investment meeting, he confidently followed the Duncan family manager and trader to the venue. I sat in a nearby seat, watching Marcus take a seat alongside Duncan's trader. The Duncan couple, due to their eldest son being discharged from the hospital, only sent their manager to attend. Marcus exuded an air of controlling the entire situation. Within the first hour of trading, a few moves by Duncan's trader netted the Duncan family account a profit of 10 million. Marcus felt he had mastered the art of stock trading and secretly invested 100 million from his account into a single stock. This stock surged significantly, leaving other stocks far behind. Seeing the green-streaked screen, Marcus couldn't hide his smug smile. The live chat exploded with praise for him. The male lead is channeling his inner Wolf of Wall Street. Let those who underestimated you get a harsh reality check. Wow, look. Even the tech tycoon across the way has noticed our male lead. Male lead, your big shot is here. This is the power of the male lead. Sitting not far away, I couldn't help but laugh at the absurdity. Glancing at the time, it was 10 minutes before 3 o'clock. I sold off a tech stock I had in hand. Marcus was overwhelmed by joy and, seeing the stocks I had sold, bought them back at a higher price. The stock price soared again. Both the bullet screen comments and Marcus were caught up in a frenzy. Under the guidance of the bullet screen, Marcus, pretending to be reserved, went over to the side of the big shot and lectured him on grand strategies. The big shot seemed to be encountering someone empty-headed and self-important for the first time and waved his assistant to shoo the person away. Marcus disdainfully left and returned to his seat. The trader from the Duncan family, having finished his call, returned to his position and saw Marcus buying a stock on the verge of collapse. His face pale, he tried to sell off his shares, but Marcus stopped him. Unfortunately, there wasn't enough time. The stock price of Pandang suddenly stagnated. In the next moment, the stock price plummeted like an avalanche, plunging straight towards the limit down. The funds invested by the Duncan family continued to shrink. 100 million, 50 million, 1 million, 0, in just a few minutes. The 200 million bet by Marcus went down the drain. He slumped into the chair, his face frighteningly pale. The barrage of scrolling comments also came to a halt. Seeing the extra 100 million in my account, I smiled even more brightly. A fool offering money, why not take it? I happily earned 100 million, but Marcus was in trouble. The money he lost was the liquid assets from the Duncan family's accounts. The Duncan family's trader informed Mr. and Mrs. Su about everything that happened today. It is said that Jordan, who had just been discharged from the hospital, felt a sharp pain in his heart and fainted again upon hearing the news. Duncan's father and mother also fainted in the hospital. The 200 million lost by Marcus plunged Duncan's company into a state of financial shortage. This also caused Duncan's reputation to plummet, and previously suppressed scandals were brought up again. Multiple orders were cancelled, and the shareholders demanded the removal of Duncan's father as chairman. Several subsidiaries under the group were on the verge of bankruptcy. Marcus hid in the Duncan family villa, too afraid to face anyone. He is now famous in T-City. A son who squandered his family's fortune has become a laughingstock for the wealthy in T-City. But how could I let Marcus off easy? There are still some doubts about the accidental deaths of my foster parents. I found my foster father's younger brother in his hometown and told him that Marcus was the lost son of a wealthy family, and that the foster father's family had died in an accident the day Marcus disappeared. This uncle, who was raised by my foster father, immediately became suspicious upon hearing this and sought out his police friend to investigate the true cause of the foster father's accidental death. Sure enough, as soon as he obtained evidence of Marcus's intentional arson and murder, he rushed to the Duncan family's villa to live stream and expose Marcus's true nature. Marcus never expected that the secret of his murder could be unearthed again. Panicked, he went to the hospital to seek help from the Duncan family parents. Unfortunately, he didn't know that the people I hired had uncovered more dirt on the Duncan family, this time involving illegal organ trafficking. I sent the information I obtained from the journalist to the police station, and soon the Duncan family was back in the headlines. Hashtag Duncan Group organ trafficking, hashtag Duncan Group employee donor, hashtag. A huge uproar has erupted online. The Duncan couple has been searching for a suitable heart donor for Jordan all these years. However, Jordan has a rare blood type, and only 1,000 people nationwide have this blood type, all of whom are registered, and their daughter, born to them, was also incompatible with Jordan. Unable to do so, they had to seek hearts through special channels. During this time, the Duncan couple also discovered the huge profits in organ trafficking. So they secretly engaged in this business. The Duncan Group owns a hospital, which they claim is dedicated to serving their corporate employees. Every year, they aggressively recruit newly graduated students, and before they join the company, they are required to undergo a full-body medical examination. In reality, the employees are secretly assigned prices. If someone selects them, the hospital will create various accidents to make the employees die under mysterious circumstances, and their organs are then delivered to wealthy individuals. It is said that the Duncan family has already found a suitable heart. I wonder if Jordan, who has been hospitalized twice due to anger, will be physically able to hold on until the heart transplant. The chaos at the Duncan family didn't stop me from continuing my studies. Lily hasn't been coming to school for a long time due to the issues at the Duncan family. I sent her a message to check on her, and she said she's fine. He sends me messages every morning, noon, and night without fail. I'm also happy that she's getting closer to me. What I didn't expect was that the issue of the Duncan family being involved in organ trafficking was actually resolved. The Duncan couple pushed all the blame onto their brother-in-law, a lazy and money-hungry scoundrel. The Duncan couple held a press conference, sincerely apologizing and portraying themselves as pitiful victims deceived by their younger brother-in-law. They also spent money to hire internet trolls, digging up and promoting the charitable activities the Duncan family had done over the years, such as setting up a learning foundation, engaging in public welfare, and making donations. In an instant, the tide turned, and netizens who had been insulting the Duncan family changed their tune, switching sides, seeing the online comments whitewashing the Duncan family. I found the reporter who had released my information, only to find that his phone was already unreachable, and the last message was an email she sent. "Boss, the Duncan family has found me. Take care of yourself too." I was startled, and before I could think of a solution, I received a call from Marcus. "Nicole, you must be very pleased with yourself for playing with our Duncan family. You're such a great actor." Almost had me fooled. If it weren't for Father discovering that the exposure of Duncan's dirty secrets was related to you, I wouldn't have known that even after the system swapped your identity, you still retained your memories. You're so vicious, destroying what you can't have. Too bad, all your efforts are in vain. The Duncan family has already found a new backer and will soon rise again. Just wait to be trampled under my feet forever. Sure enough, not long after Marcus finished his triumphant phone call, I learned that the Duncan family had received a new injection of funds, causing their stock prices to rebound. It said that a piece of land they own has caught the eye of a businessman who plans to bid $300 billion for it. Several subsidiary companies' products have also caught the eye of a foreign company, resulting in a surge of orders. Even Marcus's intentional murder case was quietly smoothed over by the Duncan family. All my efforts seem to have gone down the drain. The Duncan family has rebounded and now has the strength to start settling accounts with those who leaked information. Marcus has targeted me on multiple occasions, trying to catch me in a compromising position. He exposed my involvement in Chen family's company investment and used a contract that the Chen family couldn't refuse to kick me out of the Chen family. He then used the power of the Duncan family to force the prestigious First High School to expel me, even revoking my student status. For a time, I was almost completely isolated and without support. Chen tried to protect me, but her brother suppressed her and sent her abroad. When she left, she wanted to take me with her, but I refused. The Duncan family's affairs were not over, and I couldn't leave the country. I racked my brain to recall the illegal dirt the Duncan family was involved in my previous life, hoping to expose it again. Marcus was basking in the limelight, sending many photos of himself browsing luxury stores, and pictures of the Duncan family happily dining and discussing business with an elderly foreign man. There were even intimate photos of him holding hands with Lily. "Nicole, don't think that bad-mouthing me in front of Lily can ruin my image. I'll tell you straight, Lily is already with me." However, I noticed a dark bruise on Lily's forehead hidden by her bangs, which looked quite striking. I sent a message to Lily to ask But Lily always avoided the main issue. Nicole, I'm fine. Don't overthink it, okay? There are some family matters to resolve recently, so I can't return to school. Remember to eat well and go to bed early by yourself, okay? But things will be resolved soon. Nicole, you must wait for me. However, I felt increasingly uneasy. I found the hospital where the Duncan family was located, but before I could enter, a large group of reporters rushed towards the Duncan family's ward with cameras. On the way, I heard the excited voices of the reporters. Hurry, 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 the daughter of the Duncan family has publicly reported the dark secrets of the Duncan group online. Let's go quickly, or we won't be able to interview the Duncan family. Fake daughter of the Duncan family, reporting. I immediately opened my phone and indeed saw online that Lily had released an audio and video recording of the Duncan couple threatening their brother-in-law to take the blame. There is also a stack of evidence showing the collusion between the Duncan family and government officials to acquire land at low prices through violent demolitions, proof of Jordan violating commercial laws by stealing core data from other companies, and even a pile of documents exposing Duncan's father's fake charity work and his involvement in coercing female students into sexual transactions for power. As soon as this exposure came out, the golden backer the Duncan family had so painstakingly secured immediately withdrew their investment, taking with them the last remaining liquid funds from the Duncan family's accounts. The products stockpiled by the Duncan family's subsidiaries could not be sold, workers' wages were withheld, and they all came to the hospital to cause trouble. The Duncan family's newly cleansed reputation was once again dragged into the mud. Was it all Lily's doing? Before I could even think, I saw Marcus clutching his chest appear in the elevator. His pale face saw the chaos unfolding before him, and he panicked, turning to leave, but he was noticed by a sharp-eyed reporter. Young Master Duncan, Jordan is over there, hurry up and interview him. A swarm of reporters crammed into the elevator, and Marcus fainted from lack of breath on the floor. Meanwhile, the bullet screen above his head was going crazy. It's over, it's over. The male lead just switched to the identity of the villainous older brother, and before he could enjoy anything properly, how did the company collapse? Damn, I heard these reporters say that the dirt on the group was reported by my daughter in her real name. How dare she? This is pushing the male lead to the brink. Wow, 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 when you put it that way. Don't you find it strange that the male lead suddenly swapped identities with the villainous older brother? She had already agreed to be with the male lead, so why would he foolishly swap with the sickly older brother's identity? This is the last chance for a swap. Marcus, upon waking up, saw the content in the live chat and realized he had been set up by Lily. He wanted to explain that he was not Jordan, but with his mouth open, he could only offer feeble denials. I am not Jordan, I am not. The reporters became even more excited. Marcus was lifted onto a hospital bed by medical staff. Seeing me in the crowd, he stretched out his hand, trying to get me to explain. I just gave him a cold glance and turned to leave. The Duncan family's situation was quickly resolved, with their company being sealed off and both Duncan father and mother ending up in prison. Jordan, whose identity had been switched by Marcus, also landed in prison for intentional homicide. The whole family was neatly together, all heading straight to hell. The Duncan family was thoroughly exposed online. Lily was also exposed for her scandalous connections with the upper echelons of society. Photos of her flirting and posing seductively were leaked. Netizens gradually shifted their focus, and many vulgar comments began to viciously attack Lily. Yet I saw the image of the young and innocent Lily, surrounded by lecherous men, forced to smile. When I saw Lily again, she had lost a lot of weight, but her eyes were very gentle. Nicole, will you hate me? Those weren't things I wanted to do. But in the Duncan family, I'm just a tool, a beautiful gift. Whoever is beneficial to the Duncan family, they will push me out to. Nicole, will you despise me? I never knew the Duncan family would send their daughter out as a gift. I held Lily's hand with a heartache and said, Lily, you're not wrong. I will never despise you. You're amazing, brave, and you've retaliated against those who bullied you. You're wonderful. You're the best, Lily. Lily was moved to tears by my words. Nicole, I'm going abroad. The rest of the Duncan family won't let me have an easy time. Would you like to go abroad with me to study, to a new place, somewhere where no one knows us, to start over? Lily suggested cautiously. I was silent for a few seconds. It seemed there was nothing in the country worth my attachment anymore. I genuinely considered Lily as my sister, and I was a bit worried about her going abroad, so I agreed. Our procedures were completed quickly. Lily and I boarded the plane together. Gazing out at the deep blue sky, my heart filled with an indescribable calm. Lily and I had finally escaped the quagmire of the Duncan family. like two butterflies emerging from their cocoons, ready to pursue our own spring. Side story, Lily. My name is Lily, a Lily who has been reborn. In my previous life, I always knew I wasn't the real daughter of the Duncan family, the true child of the Duncan family, who caused Duncan's mother to have a difficult childbirth, struggled to be born, and was then cruelly abandoned by the Duncan family after it was discovered that her organs did not match Jordan's. My existence was merely because Jordan wanted a doll-like younger sister. In the Duncan household, I was not allowed to have my own hobbies, only to accompany my sickly brother from one hospital to another. My brother had a bad temper. One moment he would gently tell me stories. The next, he would grab my neck and curse me for being in good health. In the Duncan household, I lived in constant fear. At the age of 10, I began to develop, becoming more and more beautiful. Madame Duncan's gaze toward me shifted from disgust to scrutiny. My wardrobe filled with many pretty dresses, and the storybooks on my desk were replaced with cosmetics. I was taken by Duncan's father to various banquets, navigating among all kinds of men. I tried to resist, tearing apart the gown and smashing the makeup, only to be met with a brutal beating and insults. They stripped me naked and locked me in the basement, surrounded by cameras that clearly recorded my breakdown and despair. He also saved all of this as leverage to force me. I also tried to call the police, but before I could, they discovered me and I was beaten again. I tried to accept my fate and let my stepmother push me out, but at a charity banquet, I was forced to drink and taken to a hotel. I was desperate, crying and begging those around me to save me. But they held their wine glasses indifferently, ignoring my despair. But Nicole appeared, in the underground parking lot. She chased away the men forcing me with a shovel and took me home. She wiped off the heavy makeup on my face and changed me out of the tight, revealing dress. She fed me water, placed a strawberry-flavored candy in my mouth, and comforted me. "Don't cry." She asked if I wanted to call the police. I shook my head and refused. The harm done to me wasn't by a few individuals, but by a group. I will take my revenge myself. When I returned to the Duncan family, Nicole gave me a jar of origami cranes she had folded herself and 2 pieces of fruit candy. Later, I learned how to navigate and maneuver. Those men who wanted to tear off my skirt became the stepping stones for my ascent. Because of me, the Duncan family received a large investment and became the richest family in T-City, and that brother who always looked down on me also fell at my feet. Later, Nicole returned. She was the real child the Duncan family casually abandoned. She didn't remember me, and there was an extra hint of hostility towards me, but she was truly kind. At the banquet, when someone harassed me, she would step in to protect me. When she found out about my brother's sordid thoughts towards me, she would secretly warn me. But Nicole didn't know that all of this was intentional on my part. It was me who deliberately seduced Jordan. I got my wish and married Jordan, only to be confined in a separate courtyard. Secretly, I was gathering evidence of Duncan family's illegal activities. Just as I was about to expose all the evidence, I heard the news of her being assassinated by Marcus at the graduation banquet. I am filled with anger and regret for not dealing with the Duncan family sooner. Later, when Marcus met me under the guise of a Chin family young master, I saw the subtitles above his head. It turns out that I am the tragic heroine in a novel, and Nicole is the supporting female character who serves as Marcus's stepping stone. Marcus possesses an exchange system, and he killed Nicole because he fell in love with me. I suppressed the anger in my heart and no longer resisted Marcus's seduction. I also used his abilities to trick him into switching identities with Jordan. When he was full of hope, I exposed the dirt on the Duncan family and other families and reported it to the police. The Duncan family and other families were thoroughly investigated. Marcus suffered a heart attack from anger and died after taking the medicine I replaced. I sold the Duncan family's assets and left the country, only to wake up and find myself back on the day Nicole returned to the Duncan family. But this time, it wasn't Nicole who returned, but Marcus. In that moment, I knew Nicole had also come back. Sure enough, I heard she had leveraged her connections with the Chin family and enrolled in the prestigious First High School, preparing to retaliate by secretly gathering incriminating evidence against the Duncan family. I smiled, disguising myself as a journalist to deliver the information to her, secretly replacing Jordan's special medication, sitting next to Nicole, helping her investigate Marcus, helped Nicole gradually destroy the Duncan family step by step. Unfortunately, the Duncan family seems like an unkillable cockroach, and they've actually traced things back to Nicole. They even considered hiring assassins. I couldn't stand it, so I deliberately brought in a fraudulent foreign company to make the Duncan family mistakenly believe they could rise again, enticed Marcus to switch identities with Jordan. Finally, I exposed the truth under my real name. Plunging the Duncan family into an abyss of no return, I succeeded. My act of weakness softened Nicole's heart, convincing her to leave the country with me. I transferred two sums of $5 million each to the Duncan family's stock trader and the journalist investigating the Duncan family's organ trafficking. I informed them that the crisis had been resolved. Watching the planes slowly take off, I smiled. How wonderful, now Nicole and I are about to start a new life. After hearing the first story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Next, there is another similar story. Let's continue to see. My husband has a terrible temper, often not at home, and when he returns, he acts like an emperor, ordering people around. That's why my best friend constantly advises me to get a divorce. In my previous life, I listened to her, argued with my husband, and after the fight, I left home with my parents and children, unexpectedly, after the divorce. I couldn't afford the household expenses. When I wanted to go back to my husband, I found out he was with my best friend. She had charmed him into submission, and all the money went into her hands. I only realized then that my best friend had long harbored feelings for my husband and wanted to make him her own. On the day's journey home, I got into a car accident. When I opened my eyes again, I was back to the time when Susan had just started urging me to get a divorce, without a word. I blocked her on my phone and then, with a cheerful smile, addressed my husband who was scolding me for my ugly clothes and criticizing my poor taste. Honey, I'll change clothes right away. I'll do whatever you say. It was the first time in 2 years of marriage that I had shown Kevin Chin a good face during a quarrel, so much so that he was momentarily stunned. By the time he snapped out of it, I had already changed into a strapless dress. Walking out of the wardrobe, Kevin Chen's expression softened, and his eyes showed a hint of gentleness. That's more like it. Next time, don't wear those ugly clothes. They don't match your style. Why would anyone dress so formally at home? It's just that Kevin Chen likes to see it. If things don't go his way, he speaks with a sharp tongue. I used to be confused. We were married through free love, and both of us were celebrities in the entertainment industry. Why should I feel inferior to him just because we have a certificate? I've always been resentful, so every time he nitpicked about my clothes, I would fight back with all I had. Once, twice, 3 times, Kevin Chen would always end up livid, and I didn't feel good either. Then I vented to my best friend Susan in private, and without hesitation, she urged me to get a divorce. Let me tell you, Olivia, nowadays we emphasize gender equality. Who would dare to be so domineering at home? Everyone treats their wife like a princess, fearing she might get hurt or upset. It's only your husband Kevin Chen who thinks he's something special just because he gives a bit of money to the household every month, acting like a big shot at home every day. You putting up with him is one thing, but your parents have to endure him too. That's really going too far. If I were you, I'd get a divorce. It's hard to find a 3-legged frog, but there are plenty of 2-legged men out there. Leave him and find a younger guy. See if that doesn't make him mad. Although I was angry, I still hesitated. But, I've been out of the industry for a long time, and the baby is only 1 year old. What if I can't find a job if I get divorced now? Susan interrupted. How could that be? Your acting isn't any worse than his. You know, besides, I'm in this industry too. At worst, I can introduce you to a few roles. We'll see if life can't go on without him. Although I say that, I didn't really want a divorce. After calming down, I still dragged things out with Kevin Chen for a long time. It wasn't until Kevin Chen went deep into the mountains to film that he didn't return for 3 months. Just as the flu hit, everyone in the family, young and old, got sick. I was also quite ill. With a high fever reaching 39 degrees, call Kevin Chen, and he's extremely busy on the other end. After hearing just 2 sentences, he starts yelling, Olivia, you're over 20 years old, don't you know to go to the hospital or hire a caregiver? What do I give you money for? I'm far away right now, and I can't come back anytime soon. Why are you calling me non-stop? Do you want to make things even more chaotic? Listening to the commotion of crying and coughing in the living room, I feel wronged and scared, choking out, honey, I just wanted you to comfort me a little. I don't have time. Kevin Chen takes a deep breath, and it sounds like the director is urging him to come over. Figure it out yourself. Damn it, the crew has been waiting for this snow for ages, and I need to get to filming, he said through gritted teeth. Don't call me these 2 days. I'll get back to you when I'm done. After saying that, he hung up and blocked me. I stared at the red exclamation mark, feeling both shocked and pained. Just as Susan called, she heard the news and helped me take the elderly and children to the hospital. After settling everything, she looked at me and sighed repeatedly. right? I told you Kevin Chen is useless, all he can do is give some money. What else can he do? I stammered, unable to say a single word. Turning my head, Susan sent me over a dozen videos about how in marriage, if men are unreliable, it's better to live alone. The videos said that when you need a man the most and he's not by your side, it makes no difference whether he's there or not. As I watched, I seriously considered divorcing Kevin Chen, but I didn't expect Susan to have ulterior motives. Even more, I didn't realize that Kevin Chen had been giving me money all along after we got married. Without him, it means losing the $3 million monthly allowance. This useless thing, in Susan's words, can ensure my comfortable and carefree life, as well as provide a comfortable and easy life for my parents and children. So when I opened my eyes again, Kevin Chen had changed in my eyes. He was no longer my husband, but my god of wealth, my financial backer. Serving the boss also involves flattery and enduring grievance, so what's the big deal if the sponsor dad scolds me a few times? Understanding this, I immediately forced a smile. Looking at Kevin Chen, I said, "Honey, are you tired? Shall I run you a bath?" He nodded but didn't speak. Entering the bathroom, I filled the tub with water for Kevin Chen and thoughtfully tested the temperature with baby's rubber duck. When Kevin Chen came in, he was still staring at my back. "Olivia, are you still sulking with me? I've explained to you. Hanging up on you and blocking you that day was due to an urgent situation. You've been in the industry. You know how much pressure it is with hundreds of people waiting for you to start work. We went all the way to a remote mountain just to wait for that big snowfall. If we didn't get it right, we don't know when the next chance will be, and the entire crew would have to delay. I couldn't bear that responsibility. You're part of this industry too, you should understand." He had a stern face and spoke in a hurried tone. As he spoke, his temper flared up again. If this were the past, I would definitely put my hands on my hips and argue with him. Work is important. But does that mean my wife and children are not, with the whole family in the hospital? What's wrong with me being worried and making a phone call? But now I understand. Kevin Chen is a straightforward thinker. Like all men, marrying is to avoid trouble, not to create it. When dating, hormones take over, allowing you to indulge and be spoiled. But after marriage, one seeks comfort, freedom, and effortless enjoyment of home's warmth. I walked over, wrapped my arms around his neck, and nuzzled him like a kitten. "All right, I understand. It was my fault for calling that day. I shouldn't have been so hasty without considering your situation. You've only been through 2 months of hardship in the mountains. You should rest properly. Go fill the tub and take a bath first. We can talk about anything after you've rested." "Okay." When she gently stroked his cheek, she found that Kevin Chen didn't get angry this time. He sighed deeply, showing an unusual patience. "Olivia, it would be great if you could always be this understanding." I understand why Kevin Chen has that expression. I am 8 years younger than Kevin Chen, and when I married him, I was still very much a child at heart. In our relationship, he would grant any request, spoiling me to the heavens. After I got pregnant, my parents came to live with us, and since I was their only child, they indulged me completely, raising me like a pampered princess. So Kevin Chen often told me that he didn't feel like he had married a wife, but rather found a daughter. I thought this was a sign of his love for me, until I saw him with Susan. Susan was so eager to please him that she would kneel down to tie his shoelaces when they came undone. Kevin Chen was heartbroken. "You don't have to do this, I can do it myself." Susan smiled. "It's okay, I just want to be good to you. Before, when you were with Olivia, you endured a lot of grievances. Now, let me love you and pamper you like a child." Her tone, light yet effective, stirred emotions in Kevin Chen, who pulled her into his embrace. "Thank you, my wife. Meeting you is the first time I've known what love truly is. Let's go to the mall. Hubby will buy you an LV bag." Susan pouted. "Why waste this money? You work so hard for it." But she didn't object. Instead, she kissed Kevin Chen. I watched them like a creep, hand in hand as they shopped, with Kevin Chen accompanying Susan in buying a pile of things. Unlike with me, where he would easily lose his temper, with Susan, he was always so calm. Occasionally when he spoke too quickly, Susan would gently pat his chest. "Honey, take your time, I'm scared when you raise your voice." He treated Kevin Chen like a dog. Seeing the skillful Susan, I suddenly realized I was too naive, too immature. Kevin Chen's conditions are truly excellent, both parents deceased, strikingly handsome, and well established in the entertainment industry. To find someone like him is already considered good luck. After we got married, he even brought my parents to live with us in the large house he bought. He often goes out for work, filming for months at a time, and my parents, the child, and I live comfortably on the 3 million yuan he provides each month. In addition to a fixed allowance, he sometimes buys me diamond necklaces and designer bags. At the end of the year, he transfers 1 million or 2 to my parents. He doesn't squander his main income either. Besides investing in real estate, he also set aside some for his son's education fund. Such a good man, just with a bit of a temper. Why did I ever think of picking a fight with him? I couldn't help but slap myself several times. You were naive. Ruining your life and that of your parents and children. This time, I'll learn from Susan, using gentleness to overcome strength. I refuse to believe that I can't live a good life. The next day at noon, Kevin Chen was still asleep. Mom and Dad, as usual, kept the dishes warm, waiting for him to wake up. I coaxed my son to sleep and then ate 2 dumplings. Mom came over, tickled my armpit. Oh, why is our little girl being so good today? You didn't scold Kevin Chen for sleeping in, after all. I wasn't always so patient in the past. Kevin Chen doesn't get up by 10 o'clock, and I'm going to storm in and pull off the covers, annoyed that he doesn't eat with the family and disrespects my parents. This time, I just smiled at my mom. He's tired from filming, let him sleep. I'm a mother now, I can't always be so immature. Oh, old man, come and listen, our daughter says she's grown up. My mom happily went to tease my dad about me, watching the 2 elders huddle together. A wave of bitterness surged in my chest. In my previous life, I insisted on getting a divorce and didn't have much money. To maintain our previous standard of living, they had to find jobs at their age. I wonder how they managed after I passed away. And my son, just over a year old, lost his mother. My heart ached with a mix of bitterness and pain, and my eyes reddened. Kevin Chen pushed the door open and just caught sight of this scene. His heart inexplicably twinged, and he walked over. What's wrong? Who bullied you? I immediately snapped back to reality and shook my head at him. No, it's just that I feel very happy with our current life. Kevin Chen hadn't expected me to say that, and he seemed a bit stunned again. After washing up, he sat in the main seat, and I served him his rice and brought him a bowl of soup. This is what Mom cooked all morning. Try it. Kevin Chen took a sip and commented with a straight face. It's a bit strong. Next time, don't add ginger. My mom gave an awkward smile. The pork tripe would be too fishy without ginger. Then try other methods. I just don't like it. The most important thing when doing anything is to find a way to solve the problem. Overseas, they don't use ginger in cooking, and the food still tastes fine. Use your brains when doing things. Don't always stick to old ways. He started with that commanding tone again, and I felt the familiar anger rising, straining to suppress the urge to snap back. I took a deep breath and said, then we'll try a different recipe next time. You don't like other dishes, do you? This fish is quite tasty too. With that, I picked up a piece with Kevin Chen, a meal where everyone, except Kevin Chen, ate with some caution. After cleaning up, he was going to discuss work and picked up his phone. Olivia, I've transferred 5 million to you. Use it to buy something for our parents. Director James has a script he wants to go over with me. I might be back very late tonight. He came home last night and is leaving again today. In and out. He didn't even see his son. I had wanted to ask him to leave later, to say hello to the child, so the child wouldn't forget what he looks like, but then I thought, forget it, the sponsor obviously values making money more. After Kevin Chen left, it was already evening. Mom and Dad were taking care of the kids at home, so I picked up my bag and prepared to go shopping at the mall. I had been holding back for far too long. From the divorce to the car accident, a full half year had passed without me buying a single piece of clothing. Arriving at that luxury store, I took down one by one the clothes and bags Kevin Chen had bought for Susan. Carrying a pile of things, I just stepped out the door when I saw Susan approaching. Seeing the bags and packages in my hands, a hint of jealousy flickered in her eyes. Olivia, why did you block me? I looked at her calmly. No reason. Just don't want to talk anymore. We've known each other for over 5 years. We're best friends. You can't just cut ties like that. I can. Why, Olivia, you can't just sentence someone to death without a reason, can you? Our values don't align. I don't want someone constantly urging me to leave the god of wealth by my side every day. Susan, however, wasn't giving up and grabbed me. I don't think I've done anything wrong to you. If there's anything, it's that I might have said a few inappropriate things when you and Kevin Chen were arguing before, but I really am doing this for your own good. What good is a man like Kevin Chen? I gave her a sarcastic smile. Useless. If it's useless, why is someone still thinking about it? Susan's face changed, showing signs of panic. Who who is thinking about it. Are you saying he's cheating? Hee. Whoever it is knows it in their heart. Too lazy to argue with her further, I left directly. But I underestimated Susan's shamelessness. Just 2 days later, she showed up again, carrying bags and acting as if nothing had happened. My parents were unaware of our argument and welcomed her in with smiles. Susan, you're here. Olivia and Kevin Chen are still sleeping. Would you like to wait? Susan remained silent, surveying the spacious house, her gaze pausing momentarily when she spotted the Hermes bag I had recently purchased in the corner. I went downstairs and caught her envious expression. How did you get here? Susan quickly regained her composure. I came to explain what happened earlier. Before she could speak, Kevin Chen also came downstairs, dressed in casual clothes. His neck still bore the love bites from our antics yesterday. Susan's face darkened slightly. I say, Kevin Chen, you two are too lovey-dovey, with elders and children at home. You don't even bother to cover up the hickeys. Kevin Chen had always disliked being publicly reprimanded, and he gave Susan an unhappy look. This is my home, what I wear is none of your business. It was only then that Susan realized her own lapse in manners. She quickly forced a smile and added, yes, I misspoke. I came to your house this time because last time when Uncle and Aunt were hospitalized, Olivia got really angry and scolded you quite harshly. I was worried it might cause discord between you two, so I came to check on things. Kevin Chen exploded in anger upon hearing this. Olivia, you scolded me in front of others. Susan chimed in. I mentioned back then that you had your reasons, but Olivia wouldn't listen. She probably felt that since you gave some money, you thought you were something special, and she harbored some resentment towards you. She said you're not a good husband, not a good father, always thinking only about work, and you can't help out when it really matters. Any random man outside is more useful than you. Seeing Kevin Chen's face growing increasingly grim, my mother couldn't help but step forward. Susan, are you here to mediate or to stir up trouble? Why does every word you say sound so harsh? I stopped her, calming her down. Mom, you and Dad go back to the room first, I'll handle this. After sending my parents away, I turned to Susan. Susan, did you come all the way to my house just to say this? She stiffened her neck. I'm just worried that you won't handle your relationship with your husband well. We're best friends, and I don't want you to get taken advantage of. All right. I walked over to Kevin Chen, linked my arm with his, and first calmed the anger of the person in front of me. I'm sorry, honey. That day I had a fever and was really out of it. I wasn't thinking straight when I spoke. You can scold me or hit me, but please don't be angry. Go eat some breakfast first, or you might get an upset stomach. Kevin Chen remained silent with a cold expression. She pulled him to the dining table and scooped him a bowl of porridge. Do you like pickled cucumbers? Shall I get you some? Kevin Chen replied stiffly, no need, just explain what happened earlier. His palm was burning hot, his muscles tense. Clearly suppressing his anger with great effort. If I had retorted just now to save face, he would have definitely argued with me, but now, I only gently expressed concern for his health, so Kevin Chen can't say much. Then I crouched down, taking Kevin Chen's hand to caress my cheek. Honey, do you know, that day, Lula had a fever of 42 degrees and experienced febrile seizures. The doctor said if we had arrived even a few minutes later, something terrible might have happened. Dad vomited until his throat bled, and Mom had myocarditis. Almost the entire family was on the brink of death. I was the only one, struggling and enduring, until I saw Susan, as if finding a lifeline. That's why I couldn't hold back and cursed in front of her. Tears fell in big drops, and she rested her head on his knee. I know I was wrong. I shouldn't have tarnished your reputation by talking nonsense outside. You scold me. I won't dare next time. I'm sorry, husband. Woo. Isn't it just showing weakness? Isn't it just crying? I'm also a professional. I'm not afraid of this at all. At first, Kevin Chen watched coldly, as I cried until my nose turned red, my body convulsed, and I gasped for breath. Finally, he took a deep breath, pulled me up, and hugged me tightly. All right, stop crying. I don't blame you, okay? He gently stroked my head, and after I stopped crying, he kissed the corner of my mouth. Used to be so fierce, now you're getting more and more spoiled. I nestled deeper into his embrace, deliberately avoiding any glance at Susan, because my husband is wonderful, and I'm loved by my husband. That's why I can be so willful. I'm sorry, hubby. Actually, I quickly realized it. You're working hard filming outside. I shouldn't have said such things to you. Kevin Chen tapped my nose. Good that you know. Don't do that again next time. Yeah. He finished his porridge, stood up, and grabbed his coat to leave. I'm going to talk to Director James about something. I won't be home for dinner tonight. I've transferred 1 million to you. Go buy something you like. A few sweet words, a few tears, and 4 million in income this month. Kevin Chen is really a great sugar daddy. After he left, I wiped my face and sat down in the main seat. Miss Sue, you are not welcome here. Please don't come again. Susan, who witnessed all this, stared for a long time. Suddenly, she smiled. Olivia, you've changed. Once so independent and self-reliant, now you've become a man's lapdog. I look down on you. I turned my head, my gaze sweeping over her outfit, and my thin lips curved slightly. Susan, what do you think you are? The Dior coat you're wearing, the Chanel bag in your hand, even the car you're driving, they were all given to you by me. Logically speaking, I've been good to you, yet what are you doing? You're trying to sow discord between me and Kevin Chen, Susan retorted. I was just worried about you. What a load of nonsense. I sprang up, stepping right in front of her, gripping her chin. You're upset because I'm pushing for a divorce. Who's going to give me money? You. Kevin Chen gives me 3 million every month, just pocket money. I don't have to endure the sun or rain, don't need to leave early and return late, and don't even have to overly please him to live a good life. Why would I leave him? Susan was indignant. You said he has a bad temper. That he's not good to you, always out and about, not helping out at home. Yes, I admit I said that in the past, but Susan, can you honestly say that urging me to divorce was truly for my benefit? Did you really want me to find someone better and live a better life, or was it so you could successfully take your place and become the mistress of this household? In my previous life, after the divorce, I was in a daze for quite a while. I spent my days in a daze, lying at home, not knowing what to do or how to move forward. Kevin Chen was also somewhat reluctant to let go, and he came to see me several times. He brought flowers and gifts, saying that as long as I was willing to come back, he would change his temper. At that time, my mind was in chaos, so I asked Susan for advice. Unexpectedly, while she told me not to go back, she also spoke ill of me to Kevin Chen, and then, taking advantage of his dejected state, she entered into a substantive relationship with him. After the first accidental discharge, Kevin Chen hadn't fallen in love with her yet. Susan isn't as pretty as me, nor as young. Kevin Chen has high standards and doesn't like her much. It was only after I repeatedly rejected him, while Susan consistently showed gentle affection afterward, that the contrast between the two made Kevin Chen develop feelings for her. Kevin Chen is a typical male chauvinist. He either likes someone or he doesn't. Once he changes his mind, he no longer looks at the old with favor and certainly won't look back. So when I realized I had been duped by Susan and Kevin Chen no longer paid any attention to me, all that remained in my heart was boundless hatred. Susan stammered, unable to speak, so I snatched her bag and took the car keys. From now on, we are no longer friends. If you dare to spread rumors in our circle, I won't hesitate to reveal how you incited our divorce. I was foolish before, and I made mistakes, I admit it. And I will change from now on. Everything ends here. After driving Susan away, I sat alone in the living room for a long time. When my parents came out and saw my melancholy expression, they didn't know what to say. My father asked my mother to go back to the room first, and he took me for a walk downstairs. Sweetie, do you have something on your mind? I looked down. Dad, do you think I'm a failure? Why would you think that? Well, I got married young, became a full-time housewife, and now I have to watch Kevin Chen's mood to get by. My dad chuckled softly. You're saying it like it's a big difference between eating based on your boss's mood and eating based on your husband's mood. Essentially, it's just one word apart. Many people look down on stay-at-home wives because they haven't enjoyed the benefits of men, yet they've endured all the hardships. But Kevin Chen, despite his usual bad temper and tendency to curse, hasn't let us down when it really mattered. Remember the last time our whole family had the flu? He may have hung up on you, but he immediately got his friends to open a green channel for you at the hospital. Otherwise, with so many flu patients, how could me, your mom, and Lulu have been treated so quickly? Also, even though he's busy with work, the car and the house are both under your name. Your mother and I live off you, stay with you, and he's never said a single word about it. Even during holidays, he gives us red envelopes. To do all that, he's really quite good. A small satisfaction in life is better than a perfect one, right? You can't have everything go your way. I felt a bit better, but I was still a little sad, Dad. But I stay home every day, and I feel like I'm wasting my time. What if Kevin Chen doesn't want me anymore? I don't even know what I could do. My dad nodded. That's true. So, what do you want to do? Well, I was thinking of making videos and doing some public welfare activities, finding something to do without affecting my time with the kids. Alright, Dad supports you. That evening, Kevin Chen returned and discussed the matter with him, as expected. He was met with opposition. Just take good care of Lulu at home. Why are you causing trouble every day? I give you money and let you stay at home to take care of this family. I don't need you to go out and suffer, he shouted at the top of his lungs, like he'd swallowed dynamite, blasting my ears with a ringing sound. I deflected his anger with ease. If you don't want to do it, then don't, but keep your voice down, or you'll wake the kids. Kevin Chen choked on his words, grabbed his pajamas, and headed into the bathroom. I changed into a slip dress and followed him in. His face was icy cold. What is it, trying to butter me up? I smiled gently. I just wanted to see if my husband has been building muscle. When I have no shoots, I'm at the gym every day. You tell me if I've been building muscle or not. He's grown. My husband is really handsome. Sweet talking won't work. I don't agree to you showing your face in public. Leaning in, she kissed his lips. Satisfied to hear him breathing heavily. Husband, yeah, listen, let me explain. It's not about making money. Many celebrities are doing public welfare projects now, and they're quite effective. You've been in this industry for so long, you know ups and downs are normal. If we build a good reputation, even if something happens in the future, we can still buy positive content marketing. Besides, this isn't complicated. We have a lot of clothes we don't need, and toys, books from Lulu. We can just sort them out and donate them. When we donate, we'll take a quick photo, and I'll post it saying I'm Kevin Chen's wife, giving back to society on his behalf. If people find out, you might get even better roles. Kevin Chen's tone was stiff. I have the ability. I don't need such deliberate tactics to get scripts, but giving roses leaves a lingering fragrance, and Lulu is growing up too. He also wants a kind father, doesn't he? I whispered softly into his ear. After a long while, Kevin Chen finally wrapped his arms around my waist. He took a step back, his gaze burning into me. After a moment, he said, all right, do as you wish, but when I'm home, everything must revolve around me. You can handle filming and other things when I'm not around. Thank you, dear. With Kevin Chen's support, things quickly moved forward. Kevin Chen has joined a new team and is filming in a rural area up north for 3 months, taking advantage of this time. I organized some of the newer clothes and books at home, and then contacted a nearby school. At first, I didn't dare to hire anyone for these tasks, so I fumbled through the process of filming and editing, and for a while, I was extremely busy. My parents, who otherwise had nothing to do besides taking care of the child, ended up bringing Lulu along to help with deliveries and school visits, and sometimes even assisted with filming. After a period of time, everyone had lost weight but was very excited. We donated 200,000 yuan, as well as books, clothes, backpacks, and shoes. Coincidentally, that day, a leader came to visit, and the accompanying journalists captured us on camera. After the first video was released, the hashtag quickly became a trending topic. In the video, the reporter asked who I was, and I said I was Kevin Chen's wife. Soon, netizens recognized me and flooded the comments section with my past. They knew my name was Olivia and even mentioned a few of my limited works. I never expected that after all these years, the internet still remembered. Many people followed the information to find me, praising me for being beautiful and kind-hearted. In an instant, my account gained 200,000 followers. Instead of taking the opportunity to sell products, I did 2 more public welfare activities. When Kevin Chen finished filming and returned, for the first time, he didn't nitpick about the house and instead told me, you know what, Director James praised your video. He said I'm serious about filming on set, and you're contributing to society at home. Our family's values are pretty good. Many people in the crew used to complain about my temper, and they would gossip behind my back, but because of you, they've changed their view of me. I didn't expect this outcome, and I didn't know what to say, so I gave him some praise. Honey, I have to thank you for all this. If you hadn't agreed to let me do this, we wouldn't have such a good result now. Kevin Chen couldn't help but smile. He really enjoyed this mindless admiration. He transferred another 2 million immediately. Do you have enough money? I just transferred some more. Feel free to do whatever you want. I stared at him, momentarily stunned. I never expected that one day, when discussing matters with Kevin Chen, I wouldn't be suppressed and might even receive affirmation. All it took was for me to back down a little and say a few harmless, insincere words. So, what was the point of my previous stubbornness, causing chaos at home with endless arguments? With this question in mind, I began to examine my relationship with Kevin Chen. I found that Kevin Chen, except when communicating with me, was overly masculine in his approach. But fundamentally, he didn't have any malicious intentions. He treated people sincerely and honestly. Even if someone plotted against him, he wouldn't take it to heart. If a friend of his was in trouble, he would lend a hand, even if they had previous conflicts. He wasn't nearly as bad as I had imagined when I was stuck in my narrow-minded thinking, and I, though young and beautiful, often took many things for granted. Marriage is inherently complex. To live a good life, one must work hard at it. With the spread of public welfare activities, I gradually gained some fame. I also began to receive invitations to attend events. At this very moment, a gossip suddenly surfaced. An entertainment reporter caught Kevin Chen entering a hotel late at night with a mysterious woman, whose back view turned out to be Susan. Curious reporters swarmed around after the event ended. My comments section was also filled with onlookers eager for gossip. I completely ignored him and went straight home. As soon as I entered, I saw Susan sitting on the sofa. She was covering her face, crying so hard she could barely catch her breath. Kevin Chen sat beside her, just smoking without saying a word. I walked over, my tone still relatively calm. "Honey, what does this mean?" He hesitated for a moment. "Wife, I'm sorry, I did something wrong." Susan burst into tears first. "Olivia, don't blame Kevin, it's all my fault. It was wrong of me to attend the director's drinking party, and I was drugged. Brother Kevin had drunk too much, wanted to save me, and lost his balance for a moment, which led to this incident." My head was buzzing, and even though I had the answer, I still couldn't let go of my doubts. What exactly happened?" Kevin Chen sighed, his eyes darting around uncomfortably. "I'm sorry, Olivia. Susan and we slept together. I felt as if I had fallen into an ice cellar, after being reborn. I never thought that Kevin Chen and I would get a divorce. He had changed some of his temper, I had driven Susan away, and I had learned how to manage the relationship between husband and wife. Things were going well before, and I even thought about giving Lucas a little sister, but now, Kevin Chen claims that he slept with Susan." I was completely stunned, unsure how to react. My mother's anger surged, and she grabbed Susan's hair, pummeling her without mercy. "You vile woman, you did this on purpose, didn't you? I saw it last time. You wanted to ruin my daughter's marriage. I kicked you out, yet you still found a way back in. What dinner party, what drugging, you were clearly trying to seduce Kevin Chen." Susan was beaten until she wailed in tears, desperately calling out Kevin Chen's name. Kevin Chen initially remained silent, but seeing her heart-wrenching cries, he finally couldn't hold back and pulled her into his embrace. "Dad, Mom, this isn't Susan's fault. She also told me to leave at the time. She couldn't betray Olivia. It was my reluctance to leave that caused this trouble." As I watched Susan in Kevin Chen's arms, a fleeting look of triumph flashed across her face, and I understood everything in an instant. It was clearly a deliberate arrangement by Susan after I had driven her away last time. The goal was to force me to divorce. There were only two options left. Either endure this green hat and continue to hold on to this golden turtle, but when it comes to infidelity, once is enough to lead to a second and then a third. There's no guarantee that one day, he won't hook up with Susan again. Either divorce Kevin Chen and live separately, just like in my previous life. I closed my eyes and thought for a long time before finally making up my mind. "Kevin Chen, let's get a divorce." The room fell silent for a moment. Kevin Chen's face showed a flash of surprise. "Olivia, this matter is your fault. So you will leave with nothing." Before the words were finished, Susan's face, which had been secretly pleased, changed. Why should it be that way? This family's wealth was all built by brother Kevin. I couldn't be bothered to look at her, only staring at Kevin Chen. "Because you made mistakes, you wronged me, wronged Lucas, and wronged this family. I don't know how much money you have, but if you still consider yourself a man, end this relationship with dignity and then take on the responsibilities you should bear." Admitting to infidelity so readily, then accept the consequences with grace. A month later, I got my divorce certificate with Kevin Chen. He truly left with nothing, transferring a full 300 million to me. I moved out with my parents and child from our old home. On the day we left, Kevin Chen followed closely, watching me pack up. While folding the skirt, he suddenly said, "Actually, you look pretty good in a t-shirt too." I looked down and only then realized that what I was wearing was the same outfit that Kevin Chen had said looked bad when I was just reborn. Times change, and now he actually appreciates it. I smiled and said, "Thank you, you look very handsome in a suit too." Kevin Chen was somewhat disheartened. "Olivia, does this mean we can't even be friends anymore? How could that be? You're Lily's father, and that's a bond that can never be severed. You can visit him anytime. After getting the divorce certificate, I found that I wasn't as concerned about the divorce as I had imagined. Instead, I felt a sense of relief, finally free from constant calculations. After packing up all their belongings, Kevin Chen said, to avoid affecting my filming, let's announce the divorce 5 years later. This period might be a bit tough for you. I shrugged. It's fine. It's part of the condition for you leaving with nothing. I agreed, so I'll stick to it. It's just 5 years of not publicly dating. It's not like it's going to kill you. Loading the luggage into the car, I bid farewell to Kevin Chen. Bye. See you if we get the chance. If possible, speak more gently with people on set in the future, and your relationships with colleagues will be more harmonious. That's all I can tell Kevin Chen. I bought a house in the city and rented an office to continue filming. Due to previous efforts, I've started posting daily records. And although the data hasn't gone viral, I've already received some small advertising offers. What's delightful is that Lulu appeared on camera a few times, and everyone found him adorable. I'm considering whether to switch to the maternal and infant niche. On this very day, Susan called me, expressing her desire to meet. Taking advantage of the lunch break, I booked a relatively secluded private room. As soon as she sat down, she let out a scoffing laugh. Olivia, I thought you were something special, but I didn't expect you to agree to the divorce so easily. Me, oh, because I don't want a dirty man. You think you're so noble, but you're just living off men. I remain non-committal. Yes, I rely on Kevin Chen for my livelihood, but aren't you just jealous, desperately trying to meddle in our marital relationship? Susan's face contorted. Who would want such a disgusting man? Hee, not interested. If you didn't like him, why go out of your way to arrange gatherings? If you didn't like him, why deliberately get him drunk? If you didn't like him, why secretly call reporters to take photos? Susan's expression changed. What are you talking about? I scratched my fingers. We've been best friends for so long. How could I not know your tricks? That day at home, although she was crying bitterly, her gaze kept darting towards me. Moreover, after the incident, I asked around in our circle and found out that the restaurant said Susan had already made arrangements, adding something extra to Kevin Chen's drink. One by one, each piece of evidence proves that this was a trap Susan had set long ago. I merely went with the flow, helping her complete the journey. Susan was speechless. After a long while, she asked me, since you knew the truth, why did you still get a divorce? I shrugged. Because I wanted to try living on my own again. Flies don't land on unbroken eggs, even if you schemed. It was Kevin Chen who was tempted and ended up half resisting and half consenting to the relationship. He had that intention. Even if you hadn't succeeded that time, sooner or later, he would have cheated. By then, Kevin Chen might not be willing to leave empty-handed. Since that's the case, I naturally have to seize the opportunity to secure the maximum benefit for myself. After all, living under a man's thumb every day is quite boring. Failure in my previous life was due to a lack of financial backing. This time, I took all of Kevin Chen's savings. I refused to believe that I would still fail miserably if I lived on my own. From then on, I immersed myself in work. When Kevin Chen's affair scandal broke, I helped him buy press releases claiming it was just helping a friend, and we attended a few events together, so he could continue acting. As for Susan, due to Kevin Chen's covert retaliation, she could no longer get any roles. Over time, she almost disappeared from the entertainment industry. In contrast, over the 5 years, grew my fan base by making vlogs, becoming a top-tier influencer, and my income approached 9 figures. When Kevin Chen wasn't busy with work, he often came to my place to see the kids. It's quite remarkable that without the marriage certificate, he became much gentler towards me. Sometimes when we go out for a walk or shopping together, he even helps me carry my bag. Seeing how well we get along, my parents urged me to remarry. Kevin Chen stood by, saying nothing. The expectation in his eyes was evident. I neither agreed nor disagreed, seamlessly changing the subject. On the day the contract expired, I issued a divorce statement with Kevin Chen, citing irreconcilable differences. Since the scandal had passed for a long time, no one really said much about it. Many fans have complimented me, saying I'm increasingly exuding the aura of an independent woman, and they wish me well in moving forward. I replied, thank you, I will live each day earnestly. Kevin Chen even gave a like. The next day, he came again with flowers and a cake to see the children. After entering, he first hugged Lulu, then handed the flowers to me. I looked at him, puzzled. Kevin Chen smiled gently. For you? Thank you, I set it aside casually. I avoided looking at his disappointed eyes. I kissed my son's cheek. Baby, you have fun with daddy today, and mommy will be back later. Kevin Chen was slightly surprised. You're going out? I nodded. Yeah, going on a date. A date? Yeah, a friend recently introduced me to a younger guy. He's an international student, pretty handsome, and I'm planning to give it a try. Kevin Chen's face suddenly darkened. Olivia, what do you mean by this? I looked at the man in front of me, baffled. What? Why are you dating other men? The contract is over, and we've already issued a divorce statement. What's the problem with me dating? Kevin Chen was at a loss for words. But you think that since I let you see the child, I must want to get back together with you. Is that what you mean? Yes. Looking at the man in front of me who was so self-assured, I let out a small sigh. Sometimes in life, things really do go out of sync. When I was immature, he wanted me to grow up. Now that I've matured, he's acting childish again. Kevin Chen, I won't accept a man who has cheated. Kevin Chen gasped. But I only made one mistake. Every man makes mistakes, and I've changed. I smiled at him. Kevin Chen, I don't believe you. What? I don't believe a man who has cheated. I took out my lipstick and reapplied it in front of the mirror. You said you were drunk that day, but I know that a drunk man can't get it up. You clearly had some feelings for Susan. But you just didn't want to take responsibility. Maybe it's normal in this circle, or maybe you've done it privately too, which is why you think it's okay to cross the line once. After all, I've always relied on you, so you assume I'll forgive you, but I can't take it anymore. I could tolerate your bad temper and treat you like a patron before, but once the body is tainted, there's no going back to sharing the same bed. Isn't this better? You keep your reputation, I gain wealth. And neither of us loses out. Don't drag it out, don't look back, or else the past will come out, and neither of us will have a good life. After speaking, he opened the door and walked out. Behind him, Kevin Chen stood in place for a long time. Only when Olivia's figure completely disappeared did he realize that she had outwitted him. The wound ached faintly, yet he couldn't find where the bleeding was. Kevin Chen felt a suffocating discomfort in his heart. After a long while, he sighed deeply. Olivia, you're quite something, his son called out. Daddy, at his feet, Kevin Chen snapped back to reality and hugged his son. He finally realized for real that this family had long since fallen apart. From now on, he would once again be all alone. After hearing the two stories above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.